Hello, it's the fourth week of July and the fourth in this series, this 2020 series of Rush Hour concerts from the International Music Foundation. I'm your host, Robbie Ellis. The International Music Foundation normally brings live, free, high-quality chamber music to venues in and around Chicago. This concert, however, is the foundation bringing pre-recorded, free, high-quality chamber music to computers and devices in Chicago and around the world. We're on the web at imfchicago.org, on Facebook under International Music Foundation, and also on youtube.com/Rush Hour Concerts. We've been taking advantage of the very musical households that are in and around Chicago, social isolation bubbles that are self-contained chamber music units. Today, we head to the Warner Griffin House in Oak Park. Chicago Symphony Orchestra horn player David Griffin, Lyric Opera Orchestra clarinetist Susan Warner, their children, baritone pianist composer Henry and harpist Pearl, and Henry's girlfriend Tian Qin on piano. They'll be performing songs by Clara Schumann and Franz Schubert, part of Bernstein's clarinet sonata, and a new original piece by Henry Griffin. But first, here's the family in an arrangement by David Riniker, a cellist from the Berlin Philharmonic. This is Clair de Lune by Claude Debussy. And now we can hear from these performers over Zoom. They're in Oak Park. They're crowded 5 into 1 very compact video frame. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Susan Warner. I played the clarinet.
My name is Henry Griffin, and I'm a baritone.
My name is Pro Griffin, and I'm the harpist.
My name is Tian. I'm the pianist.
My name is David Griffin. I'm the French horn player. So
I'm going to talk to the younger generation first, the ones who do not yet have professional orchestral gigs. So Pearl, harpist, I've always been interested in the stories of how people come to take up the harp, because it is definitely not the most obvious choice of instruments and one with kind of difficult logistics. What was your path to that?
It started in Sun Valley, Idaho, which is where my family and I go out every summer because my mom plays in the orchestra. And I know a lot of the orchestra members, and one day I was invited to the harp room to just look around, and I was able to try it out, and I really just loved it from when I saw it and played it.
Great. And how long have you been playing?
About 3 years.
3 years. Good. Best of luck with that. And I'm going to say hello now to Tian. I understand you're a composition major at Manhattan School of Music, distance learning from Oak Park. So I'm going to ask you a question. How did you end up living with the Warner Griffin family in Oak Park for this time?
The whole story starts from the last spring break. Me and Henry were on a trip to DC, and in the middle, we both noticed that the virus situation just got worse and worse. So he called his mom and asked if it's a good idea to go back to Oak Park, but not go back to New York, because that city is just too packed everywhere. Yeah, so they were so sweet, also offered me to come with Henry to their home. Yeah, so that's why I'm here.
It's been our pleasure. Our pleasure.
I'm so appreciated.
And Tian, I'm guessing you can help Susan practice her Mandarin. 她喜欢说
Yes, she helps me a lot. I won't embarrass myself in public at the moment.
Look, all I will admit is I got only two C's in my entire university degree, and Chinese 101 was one of them. So, so up next in this rush hour concert, 2 songs by Clara Schumann, arranged for Oak Park Household Forces by Ashley Ertz, who is the program manager of the International Music Foundation. Henry, you are responsible for the words. So want to talk a bit about these 2 songs by Clara Schumann, text by Heinrich Heine and Friedrich Rückert.
So you will actually hear the 2 texts in reverse order. First, Opus 13, and then Opus 12. Opus 13 is called Sie liebten, sich, beide, which means they loved one another. And so basically, it's a story of kind of an unfulfilled love. They love one another, but neither wished to tell the other. And they saw each other in their dreams, but they nearly died of love. And then they parted, and they were never able to enjoy the fruits of love. And so it's really just kind of a tragic love story. And then the second selection, Liebst und Schönheit, is kind of like a classic romantic love story. So the opposite, it's if you love for beauty, do not love me, go love the sun with her golden hair. And then fast forward to the end, and it says, but if you love for love, love me forever, and I will love you evermore.
watching a rush hour concert from the International Music Foundation with the Warner Griffin household of Oak Park. Back at the beginning of the quarantine, so, you know, like 86 years ago, you as the family were featured on the Chicago Tribune website for giving lawn concerts from your home in Oak Park. And I understand the concerts have also expanded in size, even more players, more colleagues.
Right. So way back when we first had the shelter in place, let me preface this by saying we have the best block in all of Chicagoland. I feel very confident saying that. And we thought, you know, just a way to connect with each other. So we decided at 8 p.m., send out an email to our neighbors, and we'll all go out on our porches, bang pots and pans, and sing one song. It could be anything from Amazing Grace to Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes to Edelweiss. We did the whole gamut. It was very fun. And back in March, it was extremely chilly and dark. And as we progressed through 74 porch songs, night after night, at the end of May, it was light out and we could see one another once again. So then Dave.
4th of July weekend, we expanded it to a full wind ensemble. Sue and I both asked friends of ours who live here in Oak Park River Forest, who also play either in the CSO or Lyric Opera, if they'd be willing to join us. And we got a very large contingent of people from this area, plus a few downtown musicians and even some neighborhood talent. So we had about a 30-piece wind ensemble conducted by an old buddy of mine, Miguel Rosario, who's now the band director in Valparaiso, Indiana. He also had access to a complete music library of wind ensemble repertoire. So yeah, he did a great job.
The whole idea behind wanting to do this bigger concert was, first of all, a little bit self-serving in that we missed playing with our colleagues. We missed playing in big ensembles, but also we wanted to continue to give to our neighbors. Kind of another big reason was we know that live music can happen in this pandemic, but we have to be creative. And so we wanted to show a way outdoors, you know, spaced in pod units. I sat on a bench with a horn player and a trumpet player in my family, and but we were way spread out, 30 people across 3 lawns, and we made it work.
Yep, 7.5 feet of distance in between everybody, and I made sure of that.
Do you have any more of these concerts? Because I've missed the ones that you're doing, and I didn't hear about them. Look,
it's possible. Nothing's definitely planned yet, but there's always that thought.
Right.
They're a little bit of a secret because we don't necessarily want a giant crowd to show up. So, but we're thinking maybe something around Labor Day.
Okay, all right. The Oak Park conspiracy then. So we're going to hear solo features from both Susan and David now, Schubert and Bernstein. So David, I know a trombonist who has just started reading through romantic German leaders, you know, your Schubert, your Schumanns, your Mahlers, your Brahms, and just, oh, these are melodies that really work without the words even. So we're about to hear Gretchen am Spinnrade, Gretchen at the spinning wheel. Is that the case for you, playing horn for this?
Absolutely. You don't need to know the words to appreciate the beautiful melodies. And Schubert is just unparalleled in his ability to create these melodies that become earworms. They're just so memorable and clever. They are transcribed for the horn, and they work perfectly because of the range. Like it hits the middle register of the horn, where the horn has so many different colors possible. When the orchestra plays in Vienna, we always perform at the Musikverein, and I'd love to get there about an hour before the rehearsal and play these songs in an empty hall. It's really an amazing experience, but I always am drawn to play Schubert in that hall for some reason.
And Susan, you'll be playing the first movement of Leonard Bernstein's Clarinet Sonata. I'm guessing that you have a long relationship with this piece?
Absolutely. I think every clarinetist plays this work in either high school or college. During the quarantine, while I've been listening to my son compose at the piano, I've been hearing all of these, kind of jazzy, crunchy Bernstein influences. And I thought, wow, we need something to serve as a bridge between the lyrical and then the final work that Henry will perform. And I think this Bernstein sonata does that with its lyricism and hints toward jazz.
David Griffin from the CSO on horn, Susan Warner from the Lyric Opera Orchestra on clarinet. This is a rush hour concert from the International Music Foundation, the 2020 stay-at-home edition of that series. There's a stack of details about this concert and the performers that you see on your screen. Visit imfchicago.org for more. That Bernstein piece was from 1942, and this next piece is from the other month, I guess, last week. The composer is on this very Zoom call in the back of the shot. Henry Griffin, you've just finished your sophomore year at the Manhattan School of Music. We've seen you as a singer, we've seen you as a pianist so far. How do you divide your time between singing, piano, and composing?
Well, for me, I like to do 2 hours of piano per day and 1 hour of voice 6 days a week. So that's 1 day of vocal rest, so that I can have a day to kind of reset, and probably a healthy thing for most singers to do. And then composing, I basically do on a more spontaneous basis when I feel like there's a melody or something in my head that I need to get onto paper. But with my singing and piano, I definitely follow a more regimented schedule.
What's your official major at MSM?
Classical voice, so opera.
Okay. And onto this piece called Pandemic. I'm guessing it's recent, either that or you are very good at predicting relevant titles. Give us a sense of what we're about to hear.
Well, considering I don't have ESP, I started the piece right in February, and so this is kind of, well, it was unfolding, definitely in China, and it was a very, like my mom said, a lot of crunchy chords, jazzy harmonies, that sort of thing, a lot of modes used, the acoustic mode in there, whole tone scales, and once the pandemic really started sweeping over the US in March, and we started to feel the effects of it with the stay-at-home orders and whatnot, I thought, well, the musical landscape of this piece with all the crazy kind of crunchy harmonies and whatnot really fits the name Pandemic well. And I wanted to write a piece that kind of shows the tension and the angst and everything that we feel staying at home during this time, and also the fact that it is been disproportionately bad for people of color and disproportionately bad for those who are poor, and the fact that this targets people who are already more vulnerable in our society. So I wanted to kind of write a musical piece that reflects the horrifying effects that this pandemic really has, even more than just inflicting a virus on people. Really having a level of disastrous societal change that we need to react to as a society.
So as I understand it, we're going to hear just a single movement from the larger piece, and this movement is called Exaltation. Have I got that right?
Yes, that is. And this is a really ironic title because it's like a dance, but really what we're supposed to find here is the fact that people are thinking they can just live their daily lives and thinking that they can go out and party, but really we should be doing the opposite. And so this really kind of reflects the irony in our American society today.
Thank you for tuning into this Rush Hour concert. Music by Claude Debussy, Clara Schumann, Franz Schubert, Leonard Bernstein, and finishing with Exaltation, a brand new piece composed by the pianist you just saw, Henry Griffin. This concert was brought to you by the International Music Foundation, a not-for-profit dedicated to bringing high-quality chamber music to the Chicago area, and thanks to this pandemic, now worldwide. Thank you to Executive Director Mark Riggleman, plus Program Manager and occasional music arranger, Ashley Ertz. In next week's Rush Hour concert, we join two relatively new principal players from the Chicago Symphony Orchestra, both in their 20s, oboist Will Welter and bassoonist Keith Bunky. They'll be joined by Bailin Han on piano to play trios by Francis Poulenc, the Japanese-American composer Asako Hirabayashi, and a sadly missed musical figure, American conductor and composer and pianist Andre Previn. That's Tuesday, August 4th at the usual Rush Hour concert time of 5:45 p.m. Find out more details about next week's concert, this week's concert, all of the week's concerts at imfchicago.org. I'm Robbie Ellis, signing off from in front of my bedroom closet curtains. Thanks for watching and see you next week.